Alright, so, I figured I'd revisit this How to Stop Hating Tekken Characters series of mine. I haven't done a video in this series in a little while now, and the big guy that's pissing everybody off at the moment is Clive, so I figured I'd do one on him. He is crazy character, man. Absolutely nuts. I'm blown away by how strong this guy is, and we're going to break everything down real quick. So, starting off with, I just want to talk about a couple of things real quick with this character. Clive is, he loves to operate around this range here. So, like, right here is, like, he becomes an unstoppable monster at this range. It's just crazy the shit that he can do that keeps you out so effectively. Like, there's so many crazy good moves that just blow my mind. And the lack of counterplay to these moves is really a little bit jarring. So I'm not too convinced that this character is super balanced yet, but he is brand new as of patch 1.10, which is when this video is coming out. So if you're watching this in the future after Clive's been nerfed, then disregard probably some of the things I'm saying in this video. But as things are right now, everything I'm about to go down talk about with this character is 100% accurate, and I'll break everything down for you. This guy is a beast. So let's start off with the poking tools, for example. He doesn't have the greatest pokes, so his jab is not trash. Everybody likes to say his jab is garbage. No, it's fucking not. His jab is fantastic, and he can even go into stance after he lands 2 jabs. This right here, you're either going to do your 10 frame punish with this, which will help you gain some meter, or you're going to do jab shit. 1-1 into stance, and then build meter doing that shit. But really, his jab is not bad. It hits Chow Yu from range 2.01, which I tested myself just earlier. So it's one of the top 10 jabs in the game as far as range is concerned. And when you go to say do something like this, let me just demonstrate real quick if I can land it. That type of thing, I can even delay it just to show you how good the vertical hitbox is on his jab. You're never gonna miss a jab, even when they start to their legs start to come down a little bit. Some characters you have that problem with. For example, characters that don't have very good jab vertical hitboxes. Deviljin, Brian, Asuka, Lee, Eddie, Zafina. Those characters have, like Steve even in some cases, have really, well, not so much Steve, but the other ones definitely, have a really shitty vertical hitbox with the jab, so it doesn't hit very low to the ground. Clive's is quite fine in that regard. And he's got good range with the jab. So is his jab viable? Yes. So good poke in that regard. As far as his down forward one is 14 frames to impact. And it's minus fucking 3 on block and plus 4 on hit, and you guarantee a follow-up. If you connect with the jab, or with the down forward one, you get a follow-up. And this jab being, this down forward one being 14 frames, this down forward 1-2-1 string ends up being your 14 frame combo for punish. So 14 frame natural combo, that's your 14 frame punish. So the down forward one, not terrible. You can mix up the follow-ups. This is duckable, down forward 1-2. So, as soon as you see somebody doing spamming this shit, just duck the second hit, and you will, duck the second hit and launch him before the third hit comes out, and you'll kill him. If he's doing this too much, you can easily you get a read, call it out, and duck and launch him. But if he then decides to switch to this, he's going to be at +1 if he hits you. The damage isn't anything really to write home about, so honestly, blocking this, and you don't get any follow-up either. Nothing major. Anyways, like down 1-4-3 is not a natural combo. So even if he connects with the 4, then the 3 is not a guaranteed follow-up, and then you can capitalize and kill him in this stance that he's in right now. So Just make sure that you don't let him, let him hit you with the 3. So as you can see here, there's really nothing to worry about. You can just knock him out of the stance anytime he does that stupid shit, so don't even think about letting Clive get away with that trash. Most players are just going to end it on the down forward 1-4. So, honestly, just remember to duck Clive's down forward 1 string, because the down forward 1-4 is not scary, so always duck that string, unless they never do down forward 1-2. So... But even if they do decide to do the entire down forward 1-2-1 string, and you don't duck the full string, you don't duck the second hit anyways, it's launch punishable on block. With pretty much any character in the cast, as long as you're good. Obviously with the Mishimas you need to be pretty ridiculous to electric that on block, but you know, it's a viable punish. And -15, so launch that shit every time if you don't duck the second hit of the string. So that string has counterplay, but it's still really fantastic considering what it is supposed to be used for. You shouldn't just be throwing out down forward 1-2-1 in the neutral if you're playing Clive. It's meant to be your 14-frame punish. So Clive players should keep that in mind, but a lot of newer Clive players aren't really... I mean, everybody's a new Clive player, but a lot of lower-level Clive players, I should say, like to just let that string rip and get fucked up for it. And, well, they're not getting fucked up for it because no one's punishing them properly for it, so they're just doing it. So stop letting them get away with that shit, kill them for it on block, or duck the second hit. His jab, again, not a whole lot of counterplay to the jab, but that 10-frame punish isn't really something you need to worry about having counterplay for, since it's just used as a punish tool. Then Clive's got down back 4 and down 1 for his lows. These are pretty solid. Like, down 1 is a really good low. At high crushes, it's 18 frames to impact. High crushes on the 6th frame, just like Kazuya's down 1+2. This down back 4 looks like it has natural evasion, but it really doesn't. Clive is 100% standing the entire time that he's doing this animation with down back 4. So don't let him get away with this shit. You can interrupt since it's a slow move, 19 frames, not that fast. So, you know, if you're jabbing him or checking him in the face, he shouldn't be able to just throw this shit out. But down 1 will catch you if you're jabbing him in the face. So be careful of this move. Because if you do this move into while standing 4 can cause some serious problems if you don't block that shit. While standing 4 is really fantastic. While standing 4 from down 1 with Clive goes into Phoenix Shift stance, and that's an insane fucking stance that, talk about lack of counterplay, holy shit. Very, very ridiculous stance, very hard to deal with. Has a lot of moves that come out of it, 6 moves total, and it is not easy to deal with any of those moves. They all have different answers to them, but it really is a 50-50 mix-up. And we will discuss the Phoenix Shift in a little bit. Another move that Clive players will use in the neutral, you would probably want to do like a 2-1. Remember that this is high, so if they ever just throw this shit out, which is again a 12-frame punish, not something Clive players should just be throwing out. But if they do, the second hit is a high, it doesn't jail, so you should be able to duck and launch this stuff. So, but remember he's got a mid extension from here as well. So... And then Torgo comes out and all that shit. So be careful of that. But I don't think the mid extension is a natural combo into the third hit. So, you know, even if you get hit by the mid, you're still not gonna get hit by the third hit. So unless you're not blocking, which I always block against Clive. This guy is such a bitch. So just make sure you're blocking all the fucking time, especially at this range. Block. Like, try to advance into him as best you can, but at this range, Clive's the boss. He dictates the round, so do not be stupid and stop blocking at this range. And stop just trying to throw out random bullshit in the neutral like that. It's not going to get you anywhere. Clive is really strong from this range, and we'll talk about his ranged tools now. So, for his ranged tools, he's got some of the best ranged tools in the game. 4-4-2. Is incredible. It's fucking incredible. Counter hit launcher. So, I don't know the Clive tools, but I'm pretty sure there's like, what's the combo? It's like fucking... Yeah, like something like that. I don't fucking know the combo for Clive. I'm not a Clive player, but I have labbed the shit out of this guy. Another good range tool is down back 1. A lot of people don't use this fucking move, but it's a homing move. It's a high. It's only 8 or 17 frames to impact. 17 frames is still viable. It's like the final number of frames where you can realistically throw it out and have it consistently at least connect on block. Otherwise, any slower than that, 18 frames and above, things start getting a little more difficult to land. People are trying to jab check you and down forward 1 check you and move around you and stuff. So 18 frames and up, kind of slow. 17 frames is like the cap for a decent speed range, or decent speed of a move to come out. So down back 1 really should be used a lot. It's a high. It's got a follow-up that if you time it right, which you can just mash down back 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and they'll fucking eat shit. And it wall splats like you just saw for full combo. But on top of that, on counter hit, it launches. So, you know, ridiculous bullshit. So, it's crazy. It's a really good move. When I say ridiculous bullshit, I think, you know, it's just a strong move that does a lot of things. It's a homing move. It's safe on block at -8, I believe. -8, -9. You know, let's find out. -8, yeah. So he's got a solid homing move that's not very slow. I mean, Kazuya's back 4 is a high 19 frames, and Clive's is not, it doesn't have as good of range, but it's faster, and it's got a follow-up. So, and it launches on counter hit. So, I don't know, like, homing moves that are this fast and do all that need to be abused. Fantastic fucking move. So we talked about his down 1. Oh, I didn't mention, by the way, this move is -13 on block. Down 1, which I think is his best low, because if you do while standing 4 here, it's uninterruptible. They can't do anything. They can try to dick jab, but while standing 4, as you can see there, is 11 frames to impact. It's his 11 frame while standing punish, right? So down 2, into while standing 4, into Phoenix Shift is a very, very solid flowchart, because this is +2, so not even dick jab will interrupt the while standing 4. You're gonna have to power crush if you want to get Clive out of your fucking face or something. Or you can sidestep to the right. Sidestep right will beat while standing 4. But still, solid little flowchart. If while standing 4 connects, it's +6 into Phoenix Shift, which then makes it virtually an uninterruptible stance. You can interrupt the moves from the stance, but again, we will talk about that stance a little bit later. It is a super strong stance. Reminds me a lot of Lars's dynamic entry, but it seems a lot stronger than that. So there's that. Another crazy good range tool besides forward 4-2, down back 1 is back 2. This is one of the best moves in his entire arsenal. There's virtually no counterplay to this move at all. It's got insane tracking. Like, it's basically a homing move. And if you hit with it, you're +23 into Phoenix Shift stance, which means they cannot do anything. They can't sidestep, power crush, interrupt with a move, backdash, obviously. There's nothing they can do. All they can do is guess. Block mid, block low. That's it. That's your only option if you get hit with back 2. But even on block, it's +6. So check this shit out. +6 if you go into stance. Which again, +6 into Phoenix Shift is the ideal frames. Or more frames would be obviously better, like +14 if you're doing this move. Fucking while running 2. Crazy strong move. +14 on hit, or on block, sorry. +14 on block into Phoenix Shift into bullshit. So extremely good ranged move. What else is there? There is oh fuck. All right. So 1+2 is crazy. Again, another fantastic neutral tool. 1+2. Fantastic neutral tool. Like a poke. I should have kept this in the poke section, but, you know, down forward 1, you know, sidestep into 1+2. 1-1, 1+2. There's nothing they can do because it's 13 frames and it's safe. It's -9, it's a heat engager, guarantees a follow-up if you heat dash, if it connects in heat. Crazy fucking move. 13 frames to impact. Not very crazy range, nothing to write home about. One backdash, well, virtually one backdash and you're out of range of this attack, but doesn't really matter because they're going to be spamming it just right in your face. And it's the name of the game is Clive. In your face is never unsafe, but he does lose his turn with a lot of his moves. So that's the counterplay to this character, is he gives up his turn a lot. At least at close range. But he does have moves to retain his turn. Down 2 is 1, or down 1 is 1, like I said. Down back 4 is a move that retains his turn. He's got another one, sidestep 1+2, which is a natural hit launcher. Normal hit launcher, very slow at 25 frames, but has a lot of evasion. It does chip damage, and it's a full launcher, like I said. So, you know, there's... It's got crazy shit. There's down sidestep 1+2. It's +2 on block as well. So it's a move that retains Clive's momentum. Back 1+2 is his fucking power crush, and the range is ridiculous. As you can see, 4.06, no problem. Like, if it hits past range 4, we got a problem here. 4.5. It almost connects at range 4.5. Let's try 4. This is against Kazuya, not Xiaoyu, so the readings aren't going to be 100% accurate. But let's see if it actually does connect it close to range 4.5. So 4.48. 4.47 it whipped. So, like, 4.4, that shit is going to connect against Kazuya, which means on Xiaoyu, it probably connects at range like 4.3, 4.25. Insane. People were bitching about Devil Jin's Heat Smash back in the day before it got nerfed the first time, and it was hitting at that range as well. And this move is now the longest range move in the game. It's not a projectile, not an inherent projectile anyway. It's not a classic projectile, yet it certainly fucking feels like one. Insane range. And of course, now I have to talk about the move. This move, forward 1+2, is the best move in the game. And the reason for that is, if we just, I'm going to record this real quick, and let's see here. So, we've connected with forward 1+2, -8 on block, so you just give up your turn after that. Now try sidestepping this shit. You see the range and shit, right? The range, the fact that I'm sidestepping, I'm mixing up the timing of when I'm sidestepping. I'm right in his fucking face, which is where the sidestep is most effective, and I cannot step this move. It is crazy. On top of that, it does chip damage. It's 16 frames to impact. It's a heat engager, as you saw, and it wall splats. It wall splats. So, the only thing you can do is, if you block this move, take your turn. Do not jab check after Clive does forward 1+2. You are wasting your fucking time if you're jab checking and he's at -8. Honestly, if any character is at -7 to -9, don't fucking just jab. It's such a waste of your turn. Jabbing is for when they're -10. So you get some guaranteed damage. -10, jab away. But -7 to -9, the jab is not guaranteed. You're not going to connect with it, so why are you jabbing? There's no reason to. Take your turn, man. Do anything else. Do something that's much stronger. Like, I block forward 1+2, down back 4 that shit. Or, you know, go for an electric attempt. Down forward 2 or something, in case he tries to follow up with some random stupid shit like a parry or something, right? No, that'll actually... Parry will beat the down forward 2. But, you know, take your turn. Don't just fucking, he's gonna block now. Now I can do whatever I want. That's the only way that this move is not completely fucking stupid. Some people compare forward 1+2 to Dragunov's QCF4. And they're right to do so. They're very similar moves. They're very long-ranged hitting mids. They're both heat engagers. They're both incredibly hard to deal with. They're both very, very hard to sidestep. One of them, well, Clive's is outright impossible to sidestep, and Dragunov's you can only sidestep to the right. And it has to be timed fairly well. They both, well, Clive's wall splats, Dragunov's hits grounded. They're different in that sense. Dragunov's is +7 on block, Clive's is -8 on block, but it really doesn't matter. At least you can sidestep Dragunov's to the right and get a full launch for full combo. Clive, you can never do that with this move. Forward 1+2 has no counterplay. The only thing you can do is take your turn. There's nothing you can do. Like, just try to do something like that. He blocks it, the neutrals reset, we're at this range again, and now he can throw that shit out all he wants. So, for those of you saying that Clive is bad because he gives up his turn all the time, you're out of your fucking mind. This guy, like, the fact that he only gives up his turn and is almost never punishable is infuriating to people like me who are so used to the game being abundant as far as counterplay is concerned. There's a lot of counterplay for a lot of characters in this game, and so far Clive has very limited counterplay. But forward 1+2 is one of the main reasons that he's so insane right now. It's probably the best move in the game. It absolutely needs to be nerfed. You should not be able to just throw this out. Why can't you sidestep this shit? If this is -8 and linear and has the range it has and is a heat engager, wall splatting, full launch on in heat, +5 with a heat dash type of mid, fine. But as long as I can sidestep it, as long as it's linear, it's not that bad. We need to at least be able to punish it on some level. But you can't punish this move at all right now. It's truly amazing. Like, the thing I like to go for is maybe try a grab, because some people just aren't expecting you to throw after this move. So you'll often get your throws broken, especially if you're Kazuya, who's got no fucking throw game to speak of. But at least you'll potentially go for something and potentially get some damage. But that's not a punish. You're not getting the throw for free. But the throw will beat out his parry if he attempts to go for the parry. Speaking of which, we're going to discuss the parry now. The parry activates at 5 frames. So let's record this shit real quick. So there's the parry involved in the thing now. He's at -8. Remember that, right? So jab is going to beat that. He's doing the parry right after the -8 move is blocked. Well, that shouldn't have worked, but yeah, jab works. 11 frames beats the parry. So, Kazuya's back one is 11 frames, remember? So, 11 frames beats the parry out. 12 frames, well, shit. If you mash 1+2, you gotta be really quick. 12 frames beats out the parry. Now, if I try my 13 frame attack, I'm fucked. So, there you go. The parry comes out in 5 frames. If Clive is -8, and I can do a 12 frame move, he does a parry at -8, and it beats my 13 frame move. Because Clive is -8, my 13 frame move here comes out in actually 5 frames, but the parry beats the 13 frame, or 5-frame move that's coming out after the -8 is blocked. So therefore the parry comes out in 5 frames. Clive has only 5 frames to work with because I'm throwing out a 13-frame move and he's at -8, so he's only got 5 frames and the parry still wins. So therefore the parry activates in 5 frames. Really, really strong parry. Great setup for the parry is stuff like you could do down 1+2 in the parry is pretty solid. Let's try actually doing this. So if you try jab here, it's gonna win. So back 1, let's try back 1. Let's try just a standard 2, yeah. Even my 11-frame back 1 is beaten out by the parry if he does down 1+2, and that's because he's -6 after you block his down 1+2, which is again another really good move. It is down 1+2 acts like a steel pedal on the ground for amazing Oki. Like he's got fucking amazing Oki because of that move. So just watch this fucking thing. Like you can just flip me over and over again, and I'm in that shit position that Kazuya flip. It's got the same flip effect as Kazuya, and it's 22 frames to impact, which means it's faster than Kazuya's Demon Steel pedal. So, ridiculous Oki game this character has. For that reason, he's also got back 4, which is fantastic for Oki as well. This move is great. It doesn't have the same flip effect, but it's still a really good Oki tool, and it's safe with -9. So, this is still better. And it is a tailspin, so you get the wall, and then you get the fucking tailspin, and then you get a combo. But back 4 is still viable since it is also a wall splat, and it still gives Oki. And you know the damage is nothing to be upset about. 20 damage, 23 damage. I still think this is overall the better tool, but back 4 exists. So it also counter hit launches, and it's safe. So really solid tool. But yeah, going back on to what we were talking about earlier, forward 1+2 is insane. Is the one move I think absolutely needs nerfs. Back 2 again, amazing. Forward 2 is amazing. 1+2 is amazing. Down 1+2 is amazing. Sidestep 1+2 might be slow, but it's really fucking good. Down 1, fantastic. Really decent jab. Decent down forward 1. Might not be the best down forward 1 in the game, but hey, it's viable. It's a viable down forward 1, despite people not thinking it isn't. It's a really, really good move. It might be 14 frames to impact, but hey, at least he doesn't have Kazuya's. Kazuya's at 15 frames down forward 1, and it's -9 on block. At least with this shit, it's only -3. He's got some viable follow-ups too. If you connect with this, which is a natural combo, it's +1. So Clive gets to retain his turn. It's not the end of the world for Clive there. He's not the best when it comes to pokes, let's be real. But he can throw this shit out at close range too. It's not that slow. It's 16 fucking frames. We were just talking about earlier how forward 1+2, down back 1, this move is 17 frames. And yet it's still a super viable move, right? So, his down back 1 is fantastic. His forward 1+2 is fantastic. His down forward 1 is better than people say it is, especially since it's a 14-frame punish tool as well. And he's also got a 13-frame move with the heat engager that we talked about a second ago. This move you can sidestep, but it's very difficult to do so. It needs precise timing. So you can sidestep this either direction, as we can show right now, but again, very difficult to do so. At tip range, it's a little easier. So, you know, I I'm getting clipped a few times, I'm sidestepping it a few times. It is consistent if you time it right, but again, it's a 13 frame move. So you really need to know that your opponent is going to go for that if you plan on getting a perfect sidestep on that one. If you're just leisurely sidewalking, it's going to clip you. See what I mean by leisurely sidewalking? So you preemptively sidewalk and it realigns. So the sidestep really does have to be perfect. But yeah, so if you preemptively sidewalk, you die. If you time it perfectly, you beat it out. But again, it's 13 frames, so good luck timing it perfectly. That's not gonna happen most of the time. So everything that we've talked about so far is just neutral tools that you're going to be using and seeing a lot of in the neutral. Just ranged moves, and then the little bits of poking tools that he does have. And then on top of all that, he's got a ridiculous stance, which we'll now discuss, called Phoenix Shift. So we're going to go into a few details about this stance. So first of all, we're going to discuss back 2 into Phoenix Shift. Back 2 is pretty much the go-to move for Phoenix Shift. You really are just going to be using back 2 a lot to go into Phoenix Shift, because from this range, then being able to lay down some pressure is ridiculous. And the amount of moves that come out of this fucking move, like, it's insane, man. Not only, though, can you go into Phoenix Shift from back 2 super effectively, but you can do it from 1-1, you can do it from 4-4, from 2-2, from while standing 4, like we talked about. While standing 4 is a great way to go into it, because it's your 11 frame while standing punish into pressure into guess. Because if I do while standing 4 Phoenix Shift 2-2, you cannot beat that out. You can't sidestep it. You can't fucking do anything. You can't interrupt it. Nothing. If while standing 4 or 1-1 connects while standing 1 into Phoenix Shift, this could be your 13 frame punish. Honestly, if you're going to do that, though, just go for your 14 frame punish, because it's 3 more damage and does the same fucking thing. If you want a 13 frame punish, then do this, because you build meter for that, and it's just a really a better 13 frame punish if you're playing Clive. But most of the time, Clive players at -11 are gonna kill you by going for while standing 4 into stance, and they're all viable. But back 2 is so good because you don't have to have any setup for this. You need a 10 frame punish to go into Phoenix Shift from 1-1. You need a while standing 11 frame punish to do it from while standing 4. You know, you need a 12 frame punish to do it from 2-2. So there's all that. Same thing with 4-4. You need a 12 frame punish for this. With back 2, you can just do it, and you get +6 on block into stance, into stuff. So let's see what he's got from the stance now. So right off the bat is Phoenix Shift 1. You have a Power Crush. You can sidestep this, not to the right, to the left only, but it's not very good. Even then, you can often get clipped if you fuck up. But there you go, all that's guaranteed. So, you know, all you can do, though, is sidestep, because say you want a dick jab to interrupt this shit, you get fucked up for it. Say you want to just regular jab to interrupt it, you have to block. Very much make sure you fucking block. You can jab interrupt, but then you still get hit and take some chip damage. So, very, very annoying little move to deal with. The counterplay to this is it's -14 on block, so take your fucking punishment. -14, take your 13 frame punish. Or in my case, it's a 13 frame punish, but if you're playing someone like Devil Jin or or whatever, then you'd go for your back 2-3 or something and get your 14 frames. But that's one move out of the stance. You can interrupt with a throw, obviously, because it's a power crush. But that's just one move in the stance. So far, what we can do right now is sidestep left and punish on block. Cool. One move in the stance, taken care of. What about Phoenix Shift 2-2? Well, you get minus 13. Can you sidestep, though? No, can't sidestep right. Can't sidestep left. This is only minus 6, too, by the way. We haven't even talked about a ridiculous way to go into Phoenix Shift while running 2. We will discuss that in a second. But it's a very difficult stance to deal with. So just keep in mind, 13 frame punishes for the mids in this stance are your friend. He's at minus 13 to minus 14 for the majority of moves in this stance, whether they be crouched minus 13 or standing minus 13. He's minus 13 every time, or minus 14 sometimes. So, can't sidestep that move. You have to block it, and then you take your punish. But we'll try the next one. Let's go on from here. So, Phoenix Shift 3 is a launch punishable hell sweep. Take your punish, get your damage. You know, just do your thing. So, Phoenix Shift 3, fantastic move, is a hell sweep. With Phoenix Shift 3, 1+2, you can actually build some meter with Clive, so that's a very, dangerous tool to watch out for. A lot of players are going to go for the hell sweep, or the other low, which is Phoenix Shift 4. Not as dangerous. Minus 13 on block. Again, so take your punishment. Get your damage. But you can't sidestep again. Can't do it. So, because of the +6 and the fact that this is a 13 or it's a 15 frame move, means that you just don't have enough frames to work with in order to sidestep this move, and that move has more tracking than it really should, I think. So, linear kick, minus 13, minus 1 on hit, but minus 13 or plus 13 on counter hit. So, if I try to dick jab here, I get beaten out, and now I'm at minus 13. So, even dick jab isn't going to beat this. So there's just no interrupting, no sidestepping. You have to guess, you have to block, and that's it. Say I try to power crush. Again, I'm at minus 13, and I'm fucked up. Clive gets the same advantage that Dragunov gets if you get counter hit down 2. So, really strong, man. It's scary. This is an interruptible move. You can counter hit here. So there's that. You do have the ability to get a launch here. Just make sure that you're fucking, you know your frames. Because 14 frames you can squeak in here. I think you can squeak in 15. So, yeah, you can get 15 frames. But you can't really do anything with this move. You can interrupt it, but you cannot sidestep. Tracks to both sides, and if you duck, then you'll get clipped. If you're looking for the mid, you can fuzzy guard, but then the hell sweep timing mixes you up as well. So the hell sweep timing in tandem with this shit is frustrating. But then you've also got Phoenix Shift 2 and Phoenix Shift 1 to worry about. So there's a lot of shit going on with this stance, and the counterplay is different for each move in the stance. Some moves you can sidestep, other moves you can't. Some moves you can interrupt like this one, other moves you can't. Some moves you have to block low, other moves you have to block mid. So that's why there's just plus it's a heat engager. So it's a really strong mix-up. So really what you want to do in this stance is just guess. You don't want to attempt a sidestep or an interrupt, just in case you get fucked up by one of the moves that either tracks or can't be interrupted. There's also this move, which is insane. This is a crazy move. It's really slow, but it's +7 on block, and it wall splats. And it's a homing move, and it's a mid, so you can't duck, obviously. There's no counterplay to this. The only thing you can do is interrupt it. And this is the type of move that pisses me off, because the interruption for this move, if you're going for an interrupt, say they're spamming it. Say they're spamming the shit out of Phoenix Shift 3+4. You see that? I gotta float. So I get virtually no damage. And he gets +7 on block. And chip damage. Or a wall splat if I outright get hit by the fucking thing, because I think he's going low or something. Crazy move. But, you know, you'd have to be sidestepping to get hit by this. So say he's spamming, you know, back to, or yeah, into Phoenix Shift 1 or something. I'm gonna sidestep left, then I get fucked up for it. But it's pretty easy to interrupt this move. The interesting part about it, though, is the interruption is really annoying. He's still standing if I jab him. He's still standing if I do my 11 frame hit, so I can interrupt him with 11 frames. But as soon as 12 frames comes into it, he is now airborne. So 12 frames. Anything above that as well. So 11 frames is where Clive is still technically standing. He's airborne on the 12th frame. So you can only get a float combo if you do interrupt it. Otherwise, the best course of action, in my opinion, again, when dealing with the Phoenix Shift stance, is block. That's it. Just block. Either block standing or block crouching. But that's really it for the stance. There's no real counterplay. You have to observe what your opponent is doing, identify how they like to play and their patterns and all that. So you have to be pretty skilled at the game, to be honest, to correctly counter this character. And even then, it's all really just based on hard reads. There's some fuzzy guardable elements to that stance, like between the Hell Sweep and Phoenix Shift 1+2 or Phoenix Shift 3+4. You can fuzzy guard all those moves, but then Phoenix Shift 2 is going to clip you. So you've got to really be careful, and you really do have to pay attention to what your opponent is doing, how they like to play. So very, very strong tools in that regard. Phoenix Shift is just next level. It's even more annoying than Lars's Den 3, because the Phoenix Shift at +6, once you get into +6 from back 2, which he can just do anytime he wants. If Den 3 is stupid busted at +5 because it forces a mix-up, and it's homing, and it makes it so you can only guess low or mid. Well, back 2 is more or less the same thing as Lars's Den 3, except that he's got more options. He can do it whenever he wants. It's faster than Den 3. It comes out in a much more accessible sequence. And the guessing game is identical. You can sidestep certain moves, you can interrupt certain moves, but at the end of the day, it really is a guessing game. Block high or block low. I don't know, I don't really like forced 50-50s like that. But there's still one other thing we have to talk about, which is his while running 2 mix-up. So while running 2 is also another move that can get you into Phoenix Shift, but as you can see, he's +14 after you block while running 2. So there's nothing you can do at all. If you can't do anything at +6 but stand there and block, you have occasional exceptions, like I said, At plus 14, after while running 2 connects, you have nothing. You can't do shit. You cannot do shit. You have to guess. It becomes outright impossible to interrupt anything. Even a 1 plus 2 cannot be interrupted. Can't interrupt with a 12 frame move. Can't interrupt with an 11 frame move. Can't interrupt with a jab. But I can Power Crush because Power Crushes come out at 7 frames. So I'm allowed to Power Crush here. But then I eat the Hell Sweep, or I eat the forward, the other low, Phoenix Shift 4. Or just straight up, I get fucked up. Look how much damage I take just because that's insane. How much damage I'm taking just because I Power Crushed. Yeah, Clive is sent far away, but we both took more or less the same exact damage. In fact, I might have taken a little more. So it's you really don't have an option when you're at plus 4 with Clive's at plus 14 when while running 2 connects. The saving grace of this move is it's extremely linear. I can leisurely sidewalk any direction, and it will connect, or it will not connect. But the range of this move is insane. Like, look at that shit. The range is crazy. And you're not going to be really sidewalking this guy anyways because of back 2. The threat of back 2 and the threat of forward 1 plus 2. At this range, you have to worry about both those things. So this shit isn't really going to be part of your repertoire when you're in the middle of a match with Clive. And you're at this range. So, just... is a very difficult character to counter. But there's... Say Clive does something like... while running 2 into Phoenix Shift into forward 3 plus, or into Phoenix Shift 3 plus 4. We'll try that now. So there's that. It trades with a 14 frame move, obviously. But note the difference here. I may be able to jab interrupt, but again, you remember how at plus 6 Clive is still standing for 11 frames? After he connects with you block his while running 2, he's at plus 14, and now you don't really get anything. You either trade at 14 frames, like a 14 frame move like this, or you float him out of stuff at 13, 12, 11, or 10. So you have to be ready for that. So, like, typically you want to do back 2-2, but I can't because I just get fucked up. So back 2 isn't going to work. So I got to jab this bitch. So this is the max damage I'm getting pretty much every time. Like, obviously not that, but, you know, you get shit damage for there's very, very little reward to any of the counterplay for this fucking character. So, you know, I'm gonna sum it up right now. Essentially, you want to stay in Clive's face, right here, right? Be in his face at all times. He still has ways to circumvent your offense from this range. If you're playing a character like Kazuya, who sucks ass at this range, you're going to have a hard time fighting Clive, because both characters are garbage at this range. Well, Clive is arguably a little stronger than Kazuya at this range. He's got a really effective parry. 5-frame parry. Fantastic parry. And he's also got... it parries everything, by the way, not just limbs. That parry even parries weapons. So, and elbows and knees. Whereas, like, parries like Heihachi's parry do not parry weapons. So Clive has a very, very strong parry for that reason. It parries all of Victor's bullshit and all of Clive's bullshit. So good parry even for the mirror match. So he's got that. Plus he's got a strong jab. It's a better jab than Kazuya's, for example. He's also got a down forward 1 that is not the greatest, but it has a purpose. And then he's got down 1 as a really solid low that high crushes and is plus 2 on hit. It's only minus 13 on block, too. Down 1. I can launch with Kazuya if I'm fast. Obviously. But most characters are just going to get stuff like this, right? If you block it. And you can sidestep it, albeit it's a little tricky. You do have to time the sidestep correctly. Sidestep left seems to be a little more effective. Sidestep right seems to get clipped a lot, so sidestep this move left, and you'll have fewer issues to deal with. But of course, at the farther range, it becomes a little better with the tracking. Sidestep right is not nearly as good at tip range. Same with sidestep left; they're not nearly as good at tip range, but you can still viably sidestep or sidewalk that move left. Just be careful. You don't really want to be sidestepping Clive anyways, so the fact that you're able to sidestep certain moves is kind of irrelevant, including moves like while running 2. While running 2 is extremely linear. I can demonstrate that right now. So if we do, just anything, Phoenix shifts, anything. I already showed you while running 2 is super, super linear. So, frickin' great move if you don't step him. But the problem is, you're not going to want to step Clive, because he's got this shit. Why would you want to step a character that has one of the best homing moves in the game? Yes, this is essentially homing. It launches in heat as well. So you really don't want to sidestep Clive normally, since the majority of Clive players are just spamming 1+2, forward 1+2, and 1+2, and back 2, and forward 2. He's got an insane neutral from range like 2.5 onward. Like right about here and here, he's a monster. And he's got crazy shit to control the neutral. So, just insane. And then from here, he's got really solid pokes. So, he's got his jab, he's got his down forward 1, he's got 1+2, and he's got down 1 at close range. So, is he effective at close range? Yes. Is he great at close range? No. So the counterplay to Clive is really, if you've got a character that's got solid pokes, get in Clive's face and kick the shit out of him. You really do have to just lay on that pressure. Make sure you're constantly throwing out your plus frame attacks and beating the fuck out of him, because if you let him have space, you're gonna die. You don't really want to sidestep this character, because forward 1+2 is too strong right now. It is way too strong. The fact that it exists deters you from sidestepping. It's really unfortunate that the move is the way it is right now, because that removes a crazy amount of his counterplay, since a lot of his moves are super linear, aside from this shit, and if you can realign with forward 2, and it actually has more tracking than you think. While running 2, super, super linear, again, like I said, and then forward 1+2 is basically homing, and back 2 is basically homing. So, I don't know. Like, there's just no reason to sidestep this character if you want to, retain your life, and sidestepping would be really nice, considering the tools that this character has. So, the trick is, get in his face and beat the fuck out of him. Just vortex him, lay down your plus frames. Do everything you can to make sure that this character fucking stays in your face, because he's really not that effective there. But again, watch out for his parry. Watch out for his high crushing shit. Watch out for his power crush. He's got that insane power crush with that fucking Titan thing. It does more damage if you connect on the during the power crush animation, and then the move connects on you. It does like 3 different hits, and it does over 30 damage. It's crazy. Yeah, so you saw the damage there. 39 fucking damage for that bitch. Really, really strong power crush. 39 damage and 3 hits, and it wall splats. It's only -14. It's difficult to punish at tip range. You really have to be on point with this type of shit. You have to have a long range 13 frame punish for that to work, or 14 frame punish. So very crazy strong character at long range. Forward 1+2 needs a nerf. It's an insane move. All the best Clive players in the game right now are spamming forward 1+2 because it's that strong. So they're doing nothing but forward 1+2, back 2, down back 4 to throw out some lows here and there, even though that's -18 on block is down back 4. Again, not that strong of a low, but we'll record that real quick. It has no evasion. So just keep that in mind. No evasion. But it does counter hit launch. Although, it's -18 on block. So, every cast member can launch this for full damage. -18 on block. So, you don't really want to be throwing that out as a Clive player. But he does have down 1, which again is an amazing fucking low. It's not amazing, but it's good for Clive's move list, considering what he has in tandem with that. You can, while standing 4, into Phoenix Shift into bullshit. From a simple down 2 landing, which is a very easy move to land. It's 18 frames, unseeable low, it's +2 on hit. Solid little move. Use that. Don't use down back 4, it's too risky. And it's too slow, you'll get fucked up for it. At least down 1 has some evasion. So, but just watch out for that type of shit if you're going against Clive. This is a how to beat Clive video. Really all I've said so far is get in his face and mash your plus frame moves, but it's tricky. Let's be honest here. Clive is a very hard character to play against because he controls the neutral space around him so much. He's got insane ranged attacks. He's got ridiculous tracking with several of his amazing fucking moves, and at close range, he's not useless either. Again, he's got his good jab. He's got a 1+2 heat engage with his -9 on block. It's safe. He's got a decent little low that can go into some follow-up bullshit. He's got that parry. Honestly, Clive's addition to this game is a welcomed one, in my opinion. I don't think that he should be receiving as much hate as he currently is from half the fan base. He's receiving a lot of love from the other half. It's really divided the fan base, this character's release. It really has. He's a fucking weird character to have in this game. He's straight up like, what the fuck is that sword shit? But, he's unique. You gotta give him that at least. He's a very unique character. He is definitely not Noctis 2.0. He's a lot cheaper than Noctis, in my opinion. Fucking smacked everything on my desk just now. He's a lot cheaper than Noctis was on release. And Noctis was a cheap little bitch in Tekken 7. So that tells you a lot. Clive is a little overtuned. In my opinion, I think there's no debate that Clive is S tier. I would even say he's probably in contention for top 5 right now, to be honest. We don't have enough data on the character to say for sure, so that's just my assumption. But given the fact that you don't really have a lot of counterplay to this character, and all you can really do is stay in his face and, take your turn when he's at -8 or -9 in your face, yeah, fine, but just be aware of the fact that he's got that ridiculous parry that evades everything except throws, and he's got a solid little jab and solid little pokes that can fuck you up at close range depending on the character you use. Obviously, if you're playing against Clive with like Nina or Dragunov or something, you can fuck him up pretty easily at close range. But playing against Clive with, say, Kazuya or Raven or something, you're gonna have a hard time. So, yeah, good luck to everybody. Don't sidestep this character. It's a very 2D style game. Get hard reads. Pay attention to what your opponent is doing. And capitalize on their habits and their mistakes. That's the best way to beat Clive right now. Until forward 1+2 and back 2 and all that get nerfed, like a serious range or at least a tracking nerf would be ideal. Tracking nerfs for both those moves would be amazing. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say about the character. I'm sorry if I missed some viable information. I don't want to go over combos for this character. I'm not going over, his crazy strong follow-up tools from stances that aren't Phoenix Shift. I don't care about those. Phoenix Shift is the primary stance that most good players are abusing right now. It's the stance that we need to learn how to deal with, and there really isn't that much counterplay to the Phoenix stance if you initiate it with back 2 or or especially not if you initiate it with while running 2. It's just so strong. So I hope this helps. I really do. I did my best. I've been labbing this character for hours and hours and hours on a regular day-to-day basis. I've fought tons of Clives in God of Destruction and Tekken God all the way up to God of Destruction. I've fought tons of Clives in those ranks, and I have a pretty good, solid grasp on the character at this point, I think, but at least in terms of how to fight the guy. But I just don't see a lot of counterplay right now. So he reminds me a lot of Dragunov, to be honest, and that's not good. We don't need another fucking Dragunov in this game, but Clive is giving me some serious Dragunov vibes. He might not be as egregious as that piece of shit, but he's certainly S tier, and I don't really think there's any debate. The fact that you can just play him by spamming forward 1+2 all day, and the fact that that's what all the good Clive players are doing right now when they play this character, just proves my point. It proves the fact that he's got a lot of problems. They obviously made him busted intentionally so that he'll sell a bunch of copies for the Final Fantasy fans that are trying to get into Tekken, or aren't into Tekken and see that he's in Tekken and then might buy it for that reason alone. You know, obviously Clive is here for monetary reasons, and I'm not judging Bamco for that. I get it, but holy fuck, did they change the pattern of DLC characters for the year, for Season 1. They really did, because Eddie, on release, was not busted at all, and he still isn't to this day. Very balanced character. Lydia as well. Insane fucking heat, but not much besides that. So Lydia, very balanced character, very unique style character. Heihachi, it's got the worst tracking in the game. Every single fucking thing that character does is linear as shit. But he's so much fun, and he's super balanced, and he's the blueprint of what every character should be balanced around, in my opinion. Heihachi is fucking flawless. And then Clive comes out, and you got 3 characters prior to Clive that come out as DLC that are perfectly balanced and healthy for the game. Clive comes out complete and total opposite. Very, very, very strong, broken bullshit character, and it makes perfect sense why he is. So just deal with him as he is for now. He will get nerfed as the hype dies down and the copies of Clive start selling less and less. In a couple of months, we're going to see some nerfs on this character for sure. And then he's going to probably be in fantastic shape. Once his tools become more linear, I think it's got to be a lot of fun to play Clive, and I might actually pick the character up myself in the future once he's nerfed, because I like his design, and I think the sword shit is kind of neat, and it's a unique take on Tekken 8 character. So, really sick. Plus, he's really flashy, so who doesn't love that? Anyways, if I missed something, again, I apologize, but this is a lot of shit. I tried to take as many notes as I could, and I hope it helps. So, yeah. Good luck versus Clive online. Don't get so mad about the character right now. He will be nerfed in the future. You're just gonna deal with his broken bullshit for now. Alright? Maybe if it's pissing you off a lot, just don't play ranked, because there's a lot of Clives in ranked. So, just maybe take some ranked break until this guy gets fully nerfed. Otherwise, have fun and good luck against him. I hope it helps. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe down below for the algorithm. Really helps me out. Love and appreciate all you guys. Thank you for all the support and all the positivity that you guys are spreading in the comments. Some of you guys are negative little bitches, but most of you are awesome, and I really appreciate it. So, yeah, that's it. Love you guys. Stay safe. Happy fucking holidays, because it's making this video, it should be out on Christmas Eve. So, at least in my time zone, happy holidays, much love, and keep rocking out, and keep gaming.